You think you understand love. You think loyalty means something, that commitment still carries weight. You believe that when someone says forever, they mean it. But then, one day the illusion shatters. You see someone you trusted, someone who swore to love you, turn into a stranger before your eyes. And you're left there, searching for logic in something that has none. Let me tell you what's really happening. We live in an age where love has been replaced by leverage, where emotion is currency and loyalty is optional, where relationships are no longer about building something sacred, but about extracting something useful. This isn't about hating anyone. It's about understanding the invisible machinery shaping how men and women connect and why that machinery is breaking down. Because until you see what's underneath the surface, you'll keep getting blindsided. You'll keep losing everything you worked for, and you won't even know why. The lost balance. There was a time when relationships were built on necessity, not just emotion. Men and women needed each other. He provided safety, direction, stability. She provided loyalty, nurture, connection. It wasn't perfect, but it was balanced. Then came liberation, freedom without foundation. We tore down the walls that kept relationships stable, but we never built anything in their place. We told ourselves that freedom would make us happier, but instead it made us disposable. Now, connection competes with convenience. Commitment competes with craving. And love competes with the endless scroll of what else is out there. We have infinite options and zero satisfaction. The rise of the emotional marketplace. Today's relationships aren't built, they're negotiated. Every person is subconsciously asking, what can I get from you? What can you do for me? The moment you stop providing what the other person wants, attention, validation, excitement, you're replaced. This isn't love anymore. It's business emotional capitalism, disguised as romance. And the truth is brutal. Most people don't want partners. They want mirrors. They want someone who reflects back the image they have of themselves. Powerful, desirable, important. When that reflection fades, so does their love. Why betrayal? Hit so hard. When someone betrays you, it's not just the act itself that destroys you. It's what it reveals. It shows you how fragile connection really is in a world built on instant gratification. It shows you that loyalty, the thing you thought was sacred, is now negotiable. It shows you that commitment has an expiration date, and the timer starts the moment comfort replaces chaos. Betrayal isn't just personal, it's cultural. We've raised generations to chase feelings instead of values, to worship personal happiness above all else, to believe that if something isn't thrilling every second, it's broken, not realizing that the deepest forms of love are quiet, not dramatic. The death of consequences. Why does this keep happening? Because modern life removed every consequence that once kept our impulses in check. Technology made temptation infinite. Social media made attention a drug. And culture told us that accountability is oppression. We reward impulsiveness. We celebrate selfishness. We call destruction growth. The result? People burn down entire families and call it self-discovery. They destroy trust and call it empowerment. They walk away from loyalty and call it healing. We've glorified the very behaviors that make us miserable, and then we wonder why everyone's anxious, lonely, and unfulfilled. The psychology of betrayal. Here's what most people don't understand. Betrayal isn't always premeditated. It's usually the slow erosion of gratitude. When you stop being grateful for someone, your mind starts searching for reasons to justify your loss of appreciation. You start comparing. You start fantasizing. And before you know it, you've rewritten history, turning a person who once gave you everything into the villain of your story. That's how betrayal begins. Not with action, but with emotional revision. It's a psychological self-defense. If I convince myself they were bad, I can justify what I'm about to do. That's why the one who betrays always feels like the victim. Because they've already rewritten the story in their head before they act. What this does to men. For a man, betrayal cuts deeper than heartbreak. It's not just loss. It's identity theft. Because most men love with loyalty, not with convenience. When he commits, he builds his world around her. And when she leaves, that world collapses. Not because he's weak, but because he was all in. But here's the paradox. That same depth that makes a man powerful. His ability to love, to protect, to commit, is the very thing that makes him vulnerable in a world that no longer values those traits. The modern man is punished for his loyalty, mocked for his faithfulness, and used for his stability. And when he finally breaks, when he finally shuts down, the world calls him cold, not realizing it was warmth that got him burned. The system that profits from chaos. And let's be honest, this dysfunction is not accidental. It's profitable. A divided society is easier to control. A lonely population buys more. Anxious men spend on self-improvement. Anxious women spend on validation. Whole industries are built on your heartbreak. Therapy, dating apps, entertainment, divorce law. The system doesn't want stable families. It wants perpetual consumers. And the surest way to create that is to destroy trust between men and women. If you can convince people that love is war, you can sell them both weapons and bandages forever. The way out. So what's the answer? It's not cynicism. It's clarity. You can't fix the world, but you can stop being blind to it. You can stop mistaking lust for loyalty. Stop confusing attention for affection. Stop calling chaos passion. The antidote to betrayal isn't revenge. It's awareness. When you see the patterns, you stop taking them personally. You stop blaming yourself for someone else's programming. And you start building differently. You build with boundaries. You build with standards. You build with people who value consistency over excitement. You learn that not everyone deserves access to your energy. You learn that peace is better than validation. You learn that walking away isn't weakness. It's wisdom. The return to strength. A man's greatest power isn't his anger. It's his self-control. It's the ability to feel pain without letting it turn him bitter. Because once you've been betrayed, and you still choose dignity, that's when you become untouchable. Not cold, not closed, just whole. You see, strength isn't about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself. It's about being able to stand alone without collapsing. When you reach that place where your worth is no longer defined by who stays or who leaves, you stop bleeding for people who are never willing to heal with you. And from that stillness, that centeredness, you become something the world no longer understands. A man who cannot be manipulated through guilt, flattery, or fear. Final truth. We live in an age of endless options, but vanishing loyalty, of connection without depth, of love without responsibility. But somewhere out there, real ones still exist. People who understand that love is a verb, not a feeling. That commitment is a choice, renewed daily. That integrity means doing the right thing, even when it hurts. Be that person. Be the calm in the chaos. Be the man who doesn't play the game because he's already won it by refusing to participate. You don't need revenge. You need awareness. You don't need to harden. You need to see. Because once you understand what's really happening, betrayal stops being a tragedy and becomes your initiation. The moment you stop trying to be loved by the broken and start building a life too whole to be shattered,